cooking a meal today. If the headphones do not work out as the microphone, I plan on just doing a voice over this, but we're gonna give it a shot. So, if you guys are new to this channel and you really like this content, I know this is a little bit different than usual, but please subscribe. You have no idea how much it truly helps when you guys do subscribe or when you comment and like my videos. So, let's get started with what we're cooking tonight. Tonight we are going to be making a creamy Italian sausage pasta, and then also a really healthy salad and salad dressing for our side. I think I've made the salad possibly on here before, but we have it all the time, so we're gonna make it again. First up, I already have some water boiling in this pot, so I'm gonna add some salt to that really quickly. Now the reason for the salt is just so the pasta does not end up sticking together. This is not normally the pot I would choose to boil my pasta in, but our other pot broke, so this is the biggest one we have for today. So that's going. I'm gonna share with you guys all of the ingredients that you would need if you wanted to make this meal yourself. So for the pasta alone, we are using a mild Italian turkey sausage. I'm not sure if, there we go. I couldn't tell if the camera was focusing. But this is a turkey sausage, so it's a little bit better than just your regular Italian sausage, but honestly, they both taste the same in this dish, so you can use either or. I just typically prefer the turkey because it's a bit healthier. You will also need 1 yellow onion. You can use any other type of onion if you want, but we typically use the yellow. You will need 2 cups of a heavy whipping cream. You will need a bag of Parmesan cheese. I honestly prefer to shred my own, but for the sake of time, a lot of times we just use the bagged stuff. So you typically want to buy a nicer brand if you are getting the bagged Parmesan cheese, but this is what we're using tonight. And then we also have just an Italian blend. This is shredded cheese, or shaved, I'm sorry, not shredded. Let's see here. Yeah, the cheese is shaved in this instead, and I really like this for the top. Plus it tastes really good. Then you will also need some form of pasta. In this case, we are using a rigatoni number 31. This was just buy one get one free at the store. But I usually like to use either a rigatoni or some type of pasta that can hold the sauce a bit better. I found that this pasta does not, well, this dish doesn't really work well with like a spaghetti or a fettuccine. You could do it that way, but I really like the pasta that kind of has some space to hold on to the sauce. So those are all your ingredients for the pasta. For your salad, things can kind of go all over the place with whatever you want to use and whatever veggies you have left over. I typically use a Boston lettuce or some type of living lettuce. I found that this is just the brand and the kind that lasts the longest. A lot of other lettuces just wilt for some reason in our fridge, so that's the best. You will also need 1 avocado. I have 2 over here. I think this one's just a little too ripe, so I don't know that we're gonna get anything out of it. I also have 1 tomato. A lot of times we use the cherry tomatoes, but this was cheaper this time at the store. We also use white balsamic reduction, and this is for the salad dressing. You can use a multitude of other things, and as I get to making the dressing, I'll explain like some other options, but this is our favorite. You'll also need just a dash of lime juice, nothing intense, some form of grainy brown mustard. Here we just have the Engelhofer stone ground mustard. This is just what we can buy easily at the store, but any brand will do. You'll want some smoked paprika, some black pepper, some salt, and some olive oil. A lot of times in our salad we also like to put some broccoli or even some form of a nut like cashews or pecans or walnuts, but we just don't have any of those today. We do have some broccoli, but we're using it for another meal, so if there's any left over from that meal, we'll stick it in another salad later this week. But let's go ahead and let's get started on making the pasta part of this dish, and while the pasta and the meat are cooking, we can get started on the salad as well. So over here I have a bit of a thicker pan. This is really just going to kind of help hold the sauce when we're making it, so you want something that's a little bit deeper. And just the Italian sausage goes right in. Normally I heat the pan up a little bit more, but for the sake of the video today, I will not. Now I'm gonna go throw away the meat container and try to wash my hands as quietly as possible for you guys. Alright, so for the meat, I have this nifty, I don't know what it's called. It's not a meat grinder, but like it's a meat cutter, and it basically cuts up your ground beef or any type of ground meat that you're using. We like to eat a lot of ground turkey. It's just pretty healthy, and I know a couple of ways to make it tasty. good. So this comes in handy. Basically, you just kind of like stick it in the meat and twist it, and it helps keep your meat all ground up and it doesn't get clumpy. So while our pan is kind of heating and our meat starts to cook, you're going to want to chop up your onion. So I've got our cutting board here. And this is a fairly small onion, so I may end up using most of it, but a lot of times I'll only end up using half of the onion. While I do enjoy cooking with onion, I do not like it if it is so overpowering. Alrighty, so what we're going to do is we're going to dice the onion. And y'all cannot make fun of my chopping skills, like, I don't have them. I'm terrible at chopping. I've watched videos on how to do it, but because I'm left-handed, it's like always just backwards and foreign to me. So it took me forever to learn how to tie my shoes because of that. No one in my family was left-handed. But after your onion is diced into small pieces, you can just throw it right in there with your turkey or your Italian sausage. Like I said, it's really up to you. It's whatever you want to use. I found that they both honestly taste the same, in my opinion. But if I'm going for like a recipe where the meat is more standalone, I would definitely use Italian sausage and not turkey sausage. But in this case, you cannot tell. Alright. So I'm just going in with this meat chopper every few minutes and basically just chopping the meat up more, making sure it's all ground up. My husband really hates it, like if there's ground meat in a recipe and like the pieces of ground meat are pretty thick, he does not like it that way. Normally I would just hit this on the side of the pan, but since we're filming a nice relaxing video, we'll use a spoon to kind of get it off every so often. Now, since we are cooking with a turkey does not have a ton of like fat or juices in there. And after I've kind of diced this turkey up some, let me see if I can show you guys. Here's kind of how it's kind of chopped up and diced. There's not a ton of fat in there to help cook the onions, so I'm going to add just a little bit of olive oil. Nothing major, just enough to help those onions kind of brown up a little bit with the beef. If I was cooking this with the regular Italian sausage, I would not have taken that step. There's usually enough fat that comes out of regular like beef and pork, but he would not need that. So I'm going to turn up the heat a little bit on that, and I'm going to chop up the rest of this onion. Let's see how we're looking now. Alright, the onion is looking good. The meat is looking good. I think that's plenty of onion. And I'm actually going to reach up here, and I hope this doesn't make too much noise. Ignore our messy cabinet. We recently kind of like redid everything in this section of the kitchen, just organization wise. So we need to actually like decide where we want everything to go. And also ignore the lights under here. I got these motion sensor lights from Amazon. They're under our cabinets here so I can see better with cooking. And I love them, but I just need to get some more like of the sticky stuff to hold it up. It didn't come with enough, but I'll link those down below if you guys want those. Now we're gonna add our pasta. I'm gonna come over here and use scissors today instead of just ripping into the packaging like normal. Our water is boiling. So I'll add these here. This is really tough to do quietly. And then I just have some tongs that I use to help kind of keep that pasta separated. I've recently started trying to make my own pasta, mainly just spaghetti and fettuccine. And it tastes so good, but didn't have time for that tonight, and I don't know how to make like a rigatoni or pasta that can hold the sauce better, so we'll experiment. If you guys do want to see a recipe for that, let me know. I can share it with you guys. Alright, so while this beef, well, turkey actually, continues to cook, I'm going to kind of step over here and work on the salad a little bit more. So I'm just going to throw all of our veggies into the bowl. And I'll just do a rough chop on the lettuce. I don't like to do anything too crazy. Let me see, that might be enough. there's probably enough for the both of us. So what I'll do, oh goodness, flinging stuff everywhere. I will save the rest, and we'll probably eat that for a lunch. And you want to keep an eye on your turkey and make sure it doesn't dry out. Turkey is notorious for drying out pretty quickly. So just kind of keep that in check. Our path is still going strong here. Now, what I'll do is, once the turkey is done cooking, I'm just going to add the other ingredients that we need. However, if this was an actual Italian sausage, I would drain this first for sure. But since it's not, and turkey is drier, I do not drain it. You don't need to. If you remember, we did have to add that olive oil at the beginning. Okay, so there's that. Let me see. Oops. I threw the other spoon in the sink a little too early. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to add our 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. You could always use a milk if you would prefer, or even half and half if you want to be healthier, but I find that whipping cream tastes the best. So, yeah. And then what I'm gonna let that do is just kind of sit and bring that to a simmer. And I'll keep the heat at a medium level until it starts to simmer, and then I will lower the heat at that point in time. Our noodles are looking pretty good. Not done yet though. So I'm going to go back to our salad, and now we'll chop up our tomato. Like I said, I normally like to use cherry or grape tomatoes, but we didn't need any for another meal this week, so I just grabbed us this one instead. Right, my camera is also going to shut off here in a minute, so I'm trying to keep an eye on it so it doesn't do that, because I can only film for so long before it automatically does shut off for me. Alright, toss the tomato in, and then we're going to cut into this avocado first. I don't think we're going to get anything. Well, actually I lied. There are some usable parts here. He felt pretty soft from the outside, so let me make sure he's not brown on the under portions. Okay, we're looking good, you guys. It's always hit or miss with the avocados for us here. I don't know why. recently at the store, like, we just haven't had any close to ripe avocados at all. Like, you basically have to buy them a week in advance. So all I'm doing is basically just dice the avocado in its shell and then I'm scraping it out. I don't think you call it a shell though, it might be just called a skin. I don't really know. Alright, so our heavy cream started to simmer here. So I'm just kind of coming in with the spoon and stirring it. We still want it to simmer for a couple more minutes, so I'm going to check on our pasta. Our pasta is getting close to being done. Not quite, but close. I'm going to test a piece just to kind of see how much more time we need. I've learned one thing from Gordon Ramsay, and that is to always test your food. Seriously, always test it. I'm gonna try and cool down this pasta here. I still think it's too tough though. Too tough, but that's okay. We can let it go for longer. Alright, so our heavy cream is simmering now. We're going to take our Parmesan and we're basically going to add most of this here. And then I'm going to take my Italian blend and add just a few handfuls of that. We're also going to add some to our salad as well. Don't put your Parmesan cheese away quite yet because most likely we will need some more. But I am just stirring this. And we want our sauce to thicken, which it will thicken as it simmers here on low heat. But it does seem like it needs quite a bit more cheese. Now, this meal can easily feed 4 to 6 people, depending on what other sides you serve with it. For us, we typically save the leftovers. When you do reheat them, the cheese and the cream tend to separate a little bit, so keep that in mind. It is still good on day 2, but it just has a bit of a different texture. And I'm weird about leftovers, like, I'm really weird, like certain meats left over I can't do, but I can usually do this turkey sausage leftover. We're just gonna use all the cheese. There's never been too much cheese, right? So I just lowered the heat some, but something else that this recipe calls for that I wasn't able to get at the store this go around was some spinach. I don't know what the deal is. I know recently, like, there was a lettuce shortage apparently. I don't know if that is still going on, but I wasn't able to get spinach. There might have been a recall. I feel like there's always a recall on the different types of lettuce. So if you do have spinach, just add that straight here. I typically add like 3 or 4 large handfuls of spinach, and then you just kind of let it wilt, and it tastes really, really good in there. But unfortunately, we just didn't have any. Our pasta is getting close to being done. Something I'm gonna add are some red pepper flakes. You don't have to add this, but sometimes I like that for just a little bit of spice. Since we got the mild Italian sausage, it's not going to be bad. I'm going to add a little bit of pepper too. Alright, I think our pasta is done cooking. Let me make sure that's a little warm here. And I've already got a colander in the sink. This pot is very heavy for me. I clearly need to work out some more. And then we've just got the pasta draining in the colander in our sink here. And that can kind of hang out there in the sink for a little bit. We'll put the pasta or the pot back. I normally use that pot for like chilies or soups, not for just pasta or something I have to move around. Alright, so I know you guys can't see super well, but our pasta sauce is definitely thickening up, which is what we want. Now you can add a little bit more pepper or salt or whatever spices you want. Typically I don't, I just add the pepper only because the Italian sausage has already got some salt in there. Now we're going to come over here to our salad, and I like to add pepper quite a bit, and then just a pinch, literally the tiniest bit of salt. And make sure you always pour that in your hand before pouring it directly in there, or you will end up with way too much salt. Now we can do the dressing for the salad. I love to do a homemade dressing. You don't need a lot, and we honestly make it fresh every time. I am going to pour about probably 1 to 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil in this tiny bowl. Like, it's not much there in the bottom. And then we're going to take our white balsamic reduction, and we're going to add some of this in. And you're going to want it to be about equal parts olive oil to the white balsamic reduction. Then we take our lime juice, and we add about 3 dashes of lime juice. Now, if you do not have the reduction, the white balsamic reduction, you could always use just a regular balsamic reduction, but if not, I found that that's a little tangy, so I prefer to use, if I can't find the white balsamic, a lot of times, something just made a noise over there, it scared me. A lot of times I'll use an apple cider vinegar, and in that case you would just want like a tablespoon of it. It does not need to be equal parts olive oil to apple cider. Now we'll take our mustard, and we'll just do a squirt of mustard, and then our smoked paprika and a dash of that. I'm sorry, you guys, I'm terrible. I do not have a recipe for this. It's just kind of something that's been made up over the years. But trust me, like, it tastes very good. I also have a really good red wine vinegar salad dressing, and it goes well with like a ramen noodle salad. I'll make that for you guys once too. It's very good. So I'm gonna taste this. It's perfect. It's kind of tart but sweet at the same time, and it is very overpowering, so you don't want a lot. The stuff I made here, I'm not sure if you guys can see very well. I don't want to pour it on the floor. It almost kind of looks like a honey type mixture, but this is probably way more than the salad even needs, so we'll just save the excess. And I don't like to dress the salad until like right before I sit down to eat, because if you dress it too early, it's not good. Okay, I am going to take another spoon. I go through a lot of spoons, you guys, because like I said, you gotta taste everything. Now is the time to taste your pasta sauce, because if it's not good, you gotta doctor it up some. So I'm gonna taste this. It looks pretty good to me. I'm gonna let it cool some. That's perfect. It still is quite a bit runnier than normal. My husband, he likes his sauce really thick on his pasta, but as it cools, it's gonna thicken up a little bit more. And if you are worried and you really like yours nice and thick too, you can always add just like a little bit of cornstarch and water to it to thicken it up. But honestly, it's perfect enough for me. And I know I double dipped, but it's just me and my husband eating, so I'm not too concerned about germs. Alright, it tastes amazing. Very good. So what I'm going to do is get out our plates and dress our salad and basically serve up our food, and then we can eat. So let me grab some plates down here. And if you like things a bit spicier, you can add more red pepper flakes or use a hot Italian sausage. But in our case, for some reason, the turkey Italian sausage only comes in mild. So I'm just over here getting some noodles out. And then I'm going to dress the salad really quickly. Like I said, we're not going to want to use all of that dressing, just probably about half of it. It's not like a ranch or Caesar dressing where like more is better. Just a light coating makes it very tasty. So I'm going to get our salad on our plates. That is a lot of salad. I didn't mean to put so much on the first plate here. There we go. And then you just top your pasta with your sauce. So yummy. Like I said, it tastes even better when you've got the spinach in there. But here's the meal. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna go eat my dinner now. Bye guys.